I shattered the mirror in the executive bathroom that night, not with my fist, but with the cold truth I'd carved into my own reflection. They'll pay. It wasn't the first time I'd stared down my fractured life in that godforsaken 57th floor John at Vanguard Capital, but it was the last. By dawn, I'd make sure every one of those Wall Street vultures, starting with my ex-husband, Derek, woke up to frozen accounts, seized yachts, and FBI knocks on their Hamptons doors. And the kicker? I'd been the one holding the bag for their dirty little Ponzi scheme all along. The loyal wife who signed the Fall Guy papers while they laughed their way to Cayman Islands escapes. You think betrayal stings? Try realizing the man you built an empire with drugged your champagne at your own anniversary party, slipped you those falsified docs, and watched security haul your limp body out like yesterday's trash. Scarlett's cracked. Derek had announced to the partners, his voice dripping that fake Southern charm he'd picked up at Vanderbilt to mask his Jersey roots. Embezzlement's her game. Time to cut the dead weight. They didn't just fire me. They orchestrated the glass door smash for the cameras, turning my exit into a viral spectacle. Broke bitch Scarlett trended on X by midnight. Memes of my bloody blouse plastered across Bloomberg terminals. But here's the hook that kept me from bleeding out on the sidewalk. I knew where every skeleton was buried, and I had the keys to the crypt. That penthouse reeked of old money and fresh deceit. Polished walnut panels, crystal decanters half full of single malt lies, and a view of the Hudson that mocked anyone dumb enough to trust the skyline. Derek and I had clawed our way up from nothing. Me, a Queens girl with a Wharton MBA and a chip on her shoulder the size of the Verrazano. Him, the slick operator who charmed his way into my bed and my boardroom. Vanguard wasn't just a hedge fund. It was our baby, birthed in a cramped Brooklyn loft during the '08 crash, bottle-fed on subprime scraps we flipped into billions. We were the power couple, Scarlett and Derek Hale, the Hales of high finance. Until the itch hit him. It started subtle, like most cancers do. Late nights, networking with that viper, Elena Voss. Our CFO, all sharp cheekbones and sharper spreadsheets, with a Rolodex that could topple senators. I'd catch them in the server room, her manicured nails on his keyboard, whispers about off-books plays. I chalked it up to paranoia, fueled by the Vicodin I'd popped after that yacht party where Derek proposed expanding into crypto derivatives. Bigger risks, babe. He'd slurred, his breath hot with Patron. We're invincible. Turns out, invincible meant invincible without me. The anniversary gala was at the plaza, chandeliers dripping like honeyed venom over black-tie sharks. I wore the red Versace Derek had picked. Ironic, now that I think of it, blood-colored silk-hugging curves he'd once mapped with reverence. Elena slinked in late, her gown a second skin of emerald envy, toasting us with a flute that clinked too conspiratorially against his. To empires eternal, she purred, eyes locking on mine like she was daring me to choke on the bubbles. By dessert, the room spun. Derek's hand on my thigh felt like a vice. Sign this, Scar, he murmured, sliding a tablet under the damask. Just a formality, offshore restructuring. My signature danced across the screen, illegible as my vision blurred. Blackout. I woke to fluorescent hell, Bellevue's ER, restraints on my wrists, a social worker droning about agitated delirium and possible substance abuse. Derek loomed in the doorway. Ty Askew, his face a mask of crocodile sorrow. Babe, you went off the rails. Tried to attack Elena, screaming about conspiracies. The docs. God, Scar, you forged them. Embezzled client funds. It's over. Lies stacked like Jenga. But the nurses bought it, the cops bought it, and by noon, Vanguard's PR machine had spun it into gold. Founder's wife in meltdown. Firm acts swiftly to protect investors. They escorted me out that afternoon, Derek's security goons in ill-fitting suits, Elena smirking from her corner office perch. The glass door to the C-suite lobby, frosted with the firm's logo, a soaring eagle that now looked like a vulture, loomed like Judgment Day. You're done, Scarlett, Derek said, voice low, almost tender. We gave you everything. This is mercy. Then the shove. Not a push, a launch. My shoulder hit the pane first, spiderwebbing cracks that exploded outward in a symphony of shards. I tumbled through, skirt hiking, heels skittering across marble, landing in a heap amid gasps from the lobby interns. Blood welled from a gash on my palm, where a fragment bit deep, warm and accusatory. Phones whipped out, flashes popping like gunfire. Broke bitch. Someone jeered from the elevators. Elena's assistant. That weasel-faced kid with the trust fund sneer. I lay there, tasting copper and concrete dust, the city's indifferent hum vibrating through the floor. Broke? Me? I'd bootstrapped Vanguard from a $50,000 student loan while Derek partied through his trust fund. I'd covered for his coke-fueled indiscretions, laundered his inspirations through shell accounts I'd designed myself. And now this, theatrics worthy of a Scorsese flick, all to pin their sins on me. As paramedics swarmed, I locked eyes with Derek through the jagged frame. He mouthed sorry, but his lips curled in triumph. That's when the hook sank deepest. I wasn't sorry. I was awake. Crawling from the ambulance that night, stitched and seething, I ditched the cabbie at a Duane Reade in Midtown. No calls to my sister in Jersey. No, she'd lecture me on toxic masculinity and yoga retreats. Instead, I boosted a burner phone from the impulse rack, $19.99 for anonymity, and dialed the one ghost from my past who owed me blood. Marcus Ghost Riley, ex-NSA, current black hat whisperer in the bowels of Alphabet City. Scarlet Hale, he rasped, voice like gravel in a blender. Heard you took a dive. Derek, finally clip your wings. More like broke the cage. I shot back, hailing a city bike with my good hand. I need dirt, Ghost. Everything. Off books, Caymans, Elena's side hustles. And I need it yesterday. He chuckled, that wet smoker's hack. For old times. The kind where you saved my ass from Leavenworth. I'd pulled strings once, back when we were both young and idealistic in cyber ops, burying his hack on a corrupt senator's slush fund. Favors like that don't expire. By sunrise, he promised. But Scar? This ain't Tea Party shit. You unleash this, people drown. Let M. Pedaling through the sodium-lit veins of Manhattan, wind whipping my bandages, I plotted my first move, the firm's after-hours server purge. Derek thought I'd been too loyal to Snoop. Wrong. I'd embedded a backdoor years ago, a just-in-case worm named Red Pill, dormant in their quantum-encrypted vaults. From a VPN in a Queens laundromat, stinking of bleach and regret, I fired it up. Files bloomed like toxic flowers. Elena's emails to Russian oligarchs. Derek's ledger of ghost trades siphoning $200 mil into numbered accounts. And the crown jewel? The forgery trail leading back to me. But wait, no. Buried in metadata, Derek's IP stamp on my signature, timestamped during our blackout toast. Rage boiled, but I funneled it cold. Ghost dossier hit my inbox at 3 a.m. Elena's not just CFO. She's a ghost herself, laundering for the Sinaloa cartel through Vanguard's green energy facade. Derek knew. Hell, he romanced her into it, promising her half the pie while planning to ghost her too. The betrayal layered like an onion of acid. He'd framed me to cover their tracks, but the secret? I'd taken the fall once before, 5 years back, when a junior trader's suicide got pinned on internal fraud. I'd confessed to regulators, falsely, to shield Derek's affair with the kid's widow. Loyalty's a bitch. By 4 a.m., I was in a walk-up off Houston, laptop glowing like a Ouija board. One email to the SEC whistleblower line, anonymized through Tor, attachments of the lot, with a chaser to the Times op-ed desk. Vanguard's Vipers. How the Hales built a house of cards on your pensions. But that was appetizer. Main course. Asset Armageddon. Ghost patched me into a dark web broker. Some Ukrainian with IC-level access to Fincian databases. For a wire of my last $10,000, hidden in a crypto wallet Derek never found. He'd flag every Hale-linked account for suspicious activity. Frozen by fiat. Untouchable till hearings. Elena's Miami condo. Seized. Derek's Gulfstream. Grounded. Their joint foundation for at-risk youth. Audited to oblivion. Dawn crept pink over the East River as I hit send. Coffee bitter as betrayal from a bodega styrofoam cup, I watched the feeds. SEC raids at 6:15, choppers buzzing Vanguard spire. Derek's mugshot trended. Pasty, panicked, cuffs glinting like cheap jewelry. Elena vanished, but Ghost pinged. She's bolting to Andorra. Want coordinates. Temptation clawed, but nah. Let the feds play whack-a-mole. I pedaled back to my sister's brownstone, crashing on her couch as the story broke nationwide. Wall Street wife's revenge. Screamed the Post. Pundits debated, victim or vigilante. Me? I felt hollow, victorious, like I'd birthed a demon and set it loose. But revenge, they say, is a meal best served cold. Mine was Arctic, and it was just thawing. The fallout hit like a nor'easter off the Atlantic, swift, savage, and stripping everything bare. By week 2, Vanguard was a carcass picked clean by regulators, its carcass auctioned off in fire-sale chunks to hungrier wolves like BlackRock. Derek holed up in his Tribeca loft, lawyered to the gills with Wachtell heavies billing $2,000 an hour for denials. Elena? Slippery as an eel in olive oil. She'd ghosted to a non-extradition in the Balkans, but not before leaking a tell-all to Vanity Fair. Scarlett's jealousy spiral. The woman who torched her own legacy. Spin it how you want. The byline screamed desperation. I kept low, crashing at my sister's in Bay Ridge, her place a shrine to millennial minimalism, all succulents and self-help tomes. You can't just nuke their lives, Scar, she'd hiss over quinoa bowls, her therapist eyes narrowing. Karma's a circle, what goes around? I'd laugh, bitter as the boxed wine we split. Karma? Sis, I am the boomerang. But nights clawed at me, replaying the glass door crunch, Derek's feigned remorse. Sleep came in fits. Dosed with Ambien chased by black market Adderall, dreams of Elena's laugh echoing in empty vaults. Ghost checked in via encrypted signal. Your handiwork's viral. Feds nabbed 3 VPs yesterday, plea deals naming names. Good. But the real hook twisted deeper. Buried in the raid docs, a redacted file surfaced on Pacer. Exhibit H, 12, Hale Marital Trust. I'd forgotten, or repressed, the prenup rider, that innocuous clause waiving my equity claims if proven malfeasance. Derek hadn't just framed me. He'd engineered it from day one, back when we honeymooned in Napa, toasting to forever over Cab Sauv. The secret he'd buried? Our miscarriage 6 years prior wasn't grief. It was cover for his vasectomy, a quiet snip to dodge kids while he played house. I'd mourned a ghost baby, signed away my future in the haze of hormones and halcyon he'd slipped me. Betrayal's not a stab, it's a slow vivisection. I needed air, so I hit the streets. Brooklyn's gritty arteries, from Smith Street's artisanal facades to the Gowanus canals stinking of industrial regret. Jogging in Nikes I'd swiped from Derek's closet, petty? Hell yes. I plotted phase 2, not destruction, but dissection. Elena's Balkan bolt. Amateur hour. Through Ghost's network, I traced her to a villa outside Tirana. Cozy setup with cartel couriers dropping burner duffels. But going international meant allies dirtier than my conscience. Enter Rico Vasquez, ex-DEA turned private fixer, the kind of Latino kingpin whisperer who operated from a taqueria in Red Hook. We'd crossed paths at a narco-finance conference in Miami. Irony's my middle name, where he'd tipped me off to a Vanguard money mule. Rico, I buzzed from a payphone, voice muffled by a Mets cap. Scarlett Hale? Remember the Columbiana pipeline? He did. Vanguard had funneled laundered green through solar farm shells. Mija, you're hotter than habaneros right now. What? Derek, not enough skeletons. I laid it out. Elena's cords, a favor for a favor. He'd arrange a welcome in Albania. Nothing lethal, just enough Interpol heat to fry her passports. In return, I'd feed him Vanguard's residual cartel ties, enough to flip his snitch status to legend. Deal, he growled. But Scar? This makes us family. Messy kind. Messy suited me. Back at Sis's, I hacked Derek's personal cloud. Password still our anniversary. God, the hubris. Jackpot. Voicemails from Elena, post-raid venom. You promised me the out, baby. Scarlett was collateral. Now she's Armageddon. Fix it, or I spill everything. Everything. The miscarriage lie, the vasectomy betrayal, and worse, the junior trader's suicide. Turns out, the kid discovered the Ponzi seeds, confronted Derek mid-affair tryst. A fall from the balcony, ruled accident, but Elena's texts sketched the nudge. He slipped on your lies, D, like she will. She'd been there, holding Derek's hand as the body hit pavement. And I'd confessed to the fraud cover-up, shielding them from manslaughter probes. My mistake, their throne. The weight crushed, but it forged something sharper, resolve laced with rot. I leaked the voicemails to a podcaster buddy at Gimlet, Crime Incorporated. The fall of the Hales dropped episodes like bombs, guests debating if I was avenging angel or arsonist. Scarlett Hale's not innocent, a ex-partner opined. She coded the backdoors herself, Knew the dirt, stayed for the dough. Fair. Maybe. I'd ignored red flags for the lifestyle. Private jets to Davos. Met Gala arm candy. That hollow ache of being untouchable yet unseen. But complicit? Nah. I was the patsy in their puppet show. Phase 2 ignited on a drizzly Thursday. Rico's welcome hit Elena mid-limo to the airport. Albanian federals, tipped by anonymous U.S. interests, swarmed her convoy. Bodycam leaks went viral, her screaming in fractured English as they cuffed her to a chopper bound for The Hague. Cartel ties? Extradition gold. Derek cracked that night, phoning my burner from a Rikers holding cell. Scar. Jesus, Elena's singing. About the traitor, the kid. They'll pin it on me, but you. You knew. His voice broke, that Vanderbilt drawl cracking into Jersey wine. Come back. Testify it was her idea, the drugs, the frame. We can rebuild. Rebuild? The audacity. You threw me through glass, Derek. Called me broke while you banked my blood. Silence, then a sob, real or rehearsed. I loved you, Scar. But Elena, she was fire. You were home. I panicked. Lies, but the hook. He offered coordinates to a safe deposit box in Zurich. Our rainy day fund. $50 mill untouched by the freeze. For us. One last play. Temptation slithered, but I traced the call. Him lawyered up, Elena's fixer on three-way. Trap. I hung up, forwarded the audio to the DA. Checkmate. Not yet. The real game was personal. Sis found me at dawn, staring at the canal, rain mixing with tears I wouldn't cop to. This ends you, Scar. Or them. Who's the villain? I shrugged, the city's pulse sinking with my own erratic beat. All of us, maybe, but I'm done bleeding first. Little did I know, the twist was sharpening its knife. Brooklyn's autumn grit turned biblical that October, leaves rotting in gutters like forgotten promises, skies bruised purple with the threat of squalls. Derek's bail hearing made headlines. $10 mill posted by a family friend, Reed, Elena's cartel ghost. But the judge remanded him, citing flight risk. Good. Let him stew in gin pop, trading stories with wise guys who'd shank for a sandwich. Me? I was ghost myself, flitting between safe houses. A week in a Jersey motel reeking of Pall Malls. Then crashing with Rico's crew in a Bushwick warehouse stacked with pallets of organic produce. Wink. The pod dropped like napalm. Crime Incorporated Episode 7. The Nudge. Elena's voicemails painted her as Lady Macbeth in Louboutins. Derek the hapless king. Listeners split. Justice for Scarlet trended with fan art of me as a cyber Valkyrie, but Hale hoaxers countered with deep fakes of my confession from the traitor scandal. Pundits on CNN frothed. Is Scarlet Hale a hero exposing corruption, or a spurned harpy doxing innocence? Innocence. Vanguard's clients lost billions, pensions vaporized, widows in Boca dialing suicide hotlines. My leaks saved some, flagged the fraud early, but collateral's a bitch. Sleep evaded, replaced by what-ifs. What if I'd walked after Napa? What if the miscarriage had been my cue to bolt? Ghost pinged midstorm. Feds circling your IP trails, Scar. Time to vanish or double down. Double down it was. The Zurich box? Bait, but I'd bite, on my terms. Rico fronted a passport, Sofia Ramirez, Venezuelan expat with a backstory of oil money woes. Flew commercial to Geneva, irony. Coach seats after Gulf Streams, heart hammering like a jackhammer. The bank vault felt like a tomb, sterile air, numbered drawers whispering secrets. Inside, not just bonds and bars, but a thumb drive labeled Scar's Shadow. Plugged into a burner laptop in a lakeside cafe, fog rolling off the Rhone like cigarette haze. Files unfolded. Our wedding vows, digitized and doctored. My yes, overlaid with fraud disclaimers. Then the gut punch, medicals from the miscarriage era. Not vasectomy. My chart, forged entries of hysterectomy complications to justify no kids. But the real venom? Derek's notes, Scar's the key. Loyal to a fault. Frame her, she takes the hit. Keeps hands clean. And Elena's addendum. Love you, D. But if she flips, we end her. Quietly. And me? The traitor's nudge wasn't there first. Scans of a rival fund manager's car accident. Elena's email. Loose and tied. Your turn to owe me. Rage wasn't hot anymore. It was thermonuclear, a cold fusion in my veins. I copied it all, wired a slice to Rico for disposal services, and jetted back stateside on a red-eye, landing in a Newark downpour. Phase 3, the flip. Derek's trial loomed. Federal courthouse in Foley Square, a coliseum of mahogany and malice. I subpoenaed myself as witness, reluctant spouse, angle playing to the tabloids. DA's office buzzed me in under assumed names, but the real play was the presser outside. Me, tear-streaked in a trench coat, flanked by pro bono Gloria, all red types. I didn't just lose a marriage, I'd say, voice cracking for the mics. I lost my life to monsters I called family. But controversy brewed. Leaks from Derek's camp painted me as co-conspirator, Hale wife's revenge porn, twisting grief for gain. The miscarriage twist? Spun as my hysterical ploy, with planted shrinks testifying to borderline tendencies. Public cleaved. Blue-check feminists rallied Scarlet Strong, decrying gaslighting. MAGA finance bros decried me as woke witch hunt. Derek the real victim of cancel culture. I fanned flames anonymously. X threads dissecting Elena's cartel glam. TikToks remixing Derek's bail sobs to trap beats. Polarized? Check. Debated? Water cooler wars from coast to coast. Rico met me in a dim-lit diner off Flatbush. Arepa's steaming between us. Albania's done. Elena's in Supermax, singing like Sinatra. But Mija, your boy's lawyered up a devil. Claims the drive's fake. Your hack's treason. Treason? Cute. I'd anticipated. Ghost countermeasures layered the files with blockchain stamps, irrefutable as gravity. But the hook twisted. Rico slid a dossier across the Formica. Elena's final gift, smuggled pre-extradition. Scarlet's secret, the traitor's widow. Turns out, the kid's grieving spouse? Not just Derek's side piece. She was my half-sister, unbeknownst till DNA spit kits post-scandal. I'd shielded them both, confessing fraud to bury the affair and the nudge, thinking it noble. Betrayal squared. Derek knew, used it to bind me tighter. Storm hit full gale that night, thunder rattling my warehouse cot. Sis called, voice warbling. Scar, the news. They're saying you covered murders. For him, truth serum time. Not murders, sis. Mistakes. But yeah, I carried the weight. Silence stretched. Then, come home. Before you become the monster. Monster? Mirror lied. Eyes hollow, but fire undimmed. Trial eve, I prepped testimony. Full disclosure, no holds barred. Derek's face in prelim photos. Gaunt, eyes darting like cornered rats. Elena's? Defiant mug, lips curled in that predator pout. Opening arguments dawned crisp. Autumn leaves swirling like confetti for the damned. I took the stand post-lunch, courtroom packed with sketch artists and live tweeters. Your Honor, ladies and gents. I began, voice steady as the Hudson's flow. I didn't seek revenge. It sought me. Laid it bare. The drugs, the frame, the glass door as spectacle. Gasps rippled as I dropped the drive bombs. Miscarriage forgery, traitor nudge, cartel veins pulsing through Vanguard's veins. Derek's lawyer objected. Hearsay. Fabrication. But the judge let it ride. Jury eyes widening like kids at a slasher flick. Cross-exam. A bloodbath. Ms. Hale, the silk-suited shark sneered. You embedded malware in your own firm. Complicit, no? I leaned in, mic catching every syllable. Complicit in trust, counselor. Not theft. That's on them. Crowd murmured. Sympathy or scorn. Hard to tell. But as I stepped down, catching Derek's gaze across the well, pleading, poisonous, I whispered to the bailiff. Tell him Scarlet says checkmate. Little did the courtroom know, the board was rigged. The jury deliberated 3 days. Eternity in purgatory, each hour a drip of acid on raw nerves. Outside Foley Square, barricades held back a circus. Free Derek picketers waving Goya cans. Elena's cartel ties twisted into culture war fodder. Counter-protests with Lock Up the Lies banners. Even a food truck slinging broken glass lattes in morbid jest. I holed up in a midtown safe house, courtesy of the DA's witness protection light. Takeout Thai and true crime docs on loop. Dissecting my own saga like some meta-fever dream. Sis visited once, arms laden with lavender candles and lectures. Win or lose, Scar, this hollows you. Who's left when the fire dies? Me? I'd banked on ashes fertilizing something new. Ghost-fed real-time hacks, juror profiles, anonymous polls tilting 60-40 conviction. But doubt gnawed. Elena's Supermax dispatches, smuggled via Rico's mules, hinted at a Hail Mary. Derek's got the widow. Your blood. She'll testify, family sticks. My half-sis, Maria, Trader Joe's heir to tragedy, now a yoga instructor in Sedona peddling essential oils and suppressed screams. Derek's ace. Her affidavit, claiming I'd masterminded the nudge, jealous of her place in his heart. Bullshit, but blood ties sway juries. Controversial? They'd eat it up, sisterly betrayal in the house Hale built. Verdict dropped at dusk, sky bleeding orange over the bridges. Guilty, Derek on all counts. Fraud, conspiracy, manslaughter, Trader's fall upgraded on forensics. Elena, via video link from ADX Florence, copped accessory in absentia, her snitch deal shaving years off a life bid. Cheers erupted outside, but inside, Derek's wail echoed off the rafters, a guttural no that humanized him for a flicker. Sentencing, 25, to life for him, 18 for her. Assets liquidated to a victim fund I'd anonymously seeded with Zurich remnants. Justice? Textbooks say yes. My gut. A hollow gong. But the twist, the one that had sparked bar fights and Reddit rants, unfolded post-gavel. Maria surfaced at the presser, weaving through the scrum like a specter in athleisure. Scarlet, she called, voice amplified by a bullhorn of grief. Cameras swiveled, lights hot as interrogation lamps. You think you're the victim? You confessed to save him. Knew about the fall, buried it for your empire. I lost my husband to your lies. Gasps, flashes popping like flashbangs. She flung docs, my old plea statement, redacted no more, timestamped the night of the suicide. I'd signed it, doped on grief and Derek's whispers. Protect us, Scar. For the family. Truth serum flooded the feeds. Scarlet sins trended, podcasters pivoting to the Hale hexagon. Who betrayed whom? I didn't run, stood there, rain starting to spit, mic in hand. Maria, I said, voice cracking for real this time. I thought I was shielding you. From him, from us. But yeah, I chose wrong. No denial, no deflection. The crowd split. Some jeered guilty. Others murmured forgive. Derek, led away in orange, locked eyes through the van tint. Gratitude? Gloating? Indecipherable. Months blurred, book deals dangled. I ghosted a memoir, shattered trust, donating proceeds to Trader Widow's funds. TED Talks on corporate gaslighting, declined, spotlights a siren. Rico vanished into narco sunsets, ghost to silicon shadows. Sis and I mended over Jersey diners, her hand on mine. By Kitsch or How? Your call. Tragic? Derek rotted in Otisville, Elena in her concrete kennel, me adrift in a Brooklyn co-op, coding ethical AI for startups. Redemption's a grind. Happy? Nah, but hollow filled with something tentative. Truth's sharp edge, cutting both ways. The final hook? That Zurich drive held one last file. Derek's suicide note, dated pretrial, undelivered. Scar, if you're reading this, I won. You destroyed us to save yourself. But no, the miscarriage? Real. Our baby gone because I pushed too hard. Your rage, my fear. Elena was escape. Forgive? Never. But understand. Forgery or farewell. Blockchain said authentic. Debate fodder eternal. Was I avenger or architect? Villain or vindicated? Readers, juries, you decide. Me? I deleted it, stepped into the dawn. Glass shards long swept, but scars etched deep. Revenge served, plate empty. What's next? Hell if I know. But I'm not broke anymore.